Hello everyone, this is Crota coming at you, giving you game 1 in a set between Hawk and Rudan. We see Rudan spawning as the red Night Elf player on the top right hand side of Amazonia. Meanwhile, Hawk spawning as the light blue human on the bottom left. This will be a human versus Night Elf matchup. Looking forward to how seeing things unfold. And it looks like it will be a traditional Archmage versus Demon Hunter matchup, as we're already looking at, there's the Archmage, there is that Demon Hunter, nothing too out of the ordinary. No crazy Goblin Alchemist this time around, as things are now getting underway. Ancient of War quickly dealing some damage there, and also taking it as the Archer gets into position with that Lightning Shield. Lightning Shield adding, I believe, about 10 to 20 damage a second. Very high damage indeed, and similar to Immolation, in fact, as the Footman tries to sneak in a kill, however, a little bit unsuccessful there, as you now see that the Demon Hunter is going to be finishing off this Renegade Wizard here. Demon Hunter now going after this Footman. That Footman taking a lot of damage now, as we see that the Footman is now going to be going after the Wisp instead. Alright, Ring of Protection +2. Is the Demon Hunter going to get that kill? Yes, he will, as he gets some extra damage onto that Footman here. Alright, what's going to be happening here? Poor Wisp trying to get away. It looks like he's going to grow up to be a Moonwell in order to stop that Footman from getting in that damage. However, this Ancient of War now dangerously low on hit points, down to 66. He needs to eat a tree, as the Demon Hunter now chases down this Footman, and it looks like the Demon Hunter will not be able to finish him off, as that Footman turns around and decides to sacrifice himself to the Night Elf cause, giving a little bit more experience, as we are now teching to tier 2. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Archmage picking up Claws of Attack +6, Mantle of Intelligence, has +9 attack, effectively an additional Footman in terms of damage. Well, a little bit less, but then you add in that range, and, well, all the calculations aside, +9 damage is very helpful, as it does in fact increase the base damage of that Archmage by about 33%. Meanwhile, let's take a look back over here. Archmage looking to finish off, or at least start some damage into this corner. Doesn't look like he's going to be successful until he calls over that Militia. A Militia army should be a short work of this Mud Golem creep camp. Yes, the Mud Golems will be casting a lot of slow, but the introduction of so many Militia really make it so that that slow is pretty much gone in an instant. Meanwhile, Scout Farm has been placed down by Hawk. Hawk is looking around with this one particular farm here, able to spot what is going on here, but he won't see the all-important tier 2 tech. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, as we are looking at what Hawk wants to do next. If Hawk sets up this expansion, that means he wants to go for a little bit of a longer game. If he doesn't pick up the expansion, it looks like he would be going for a shorter game instead, hoping to use Quill Beast and a Beastmaster to try and do a lot of damage on those buildings as they are being produced. Now, that strategy is more commonly used against an Orc player, but I have seen it used very rarely against a Night Elf. We are not going to be looking at that. Instead, it is going to be a sheer tech to tier 2 or tier 1, or a sheer tech stay at tier 1, excuse me, with a quick expansion for that economic advantage. What is going to be the follow-up play? Well, you could try and clear out the mercenary camp and use that additional gold that you're going to have from that expansion to pick up Troll Berserkers and Troll Shadow Priests. That is a very common strategy, as the additional gold that you have is generally offset by your weaker units since you didn't tech. Yes, you can spend your excess gold, so to speak, and by hiring mercenaries from the mercenary camp. And you want a good balance of how you hire them, just because you know your opponent is going to be bringing in the hurt and trying to stop you as much as possible. Now, Archmage is holding back here. You can see that he does drop another Water Elemental. And is the Demon Hunter perhaps going to try and mana burn? That is the big question. Alright, a little bit of damage already to be had there. You can see the damage coming through. A 25 mana burn, and not very much of anything, as the Demon Hunter now perhaps losing more mana than he really wanted to lose. Meanwhile, let's take a look at this arcane feedback now onto that Naga Sea Witch. That's going to be a little bit bad here, as we should be seeing a bit of repairs onto some of these units. Footmen, however, do not have defend. Oh, do have defend, but maybe a little late there. Not getting that defend early enough to really protect against those archers, as the Demon Hunter able to finish off once a good amount of damage was dealt. Now, Archmage is not going to have the cover of a water elemental for that much longer. And once that water elemental timer is gone, I believe the archers and the Naga Sea Witch will be able to push a little bit more effectively. More towers are going up in preparation. Footmen do have the Fen. There is that damage being thrown back. Abolish magic not even bothered to be used, as we see now the fight getting underway. Evasion definitely coming in to a factor in this game here, as the Demon Hunter now down to 58 hit points. Sure, he would actually be dead if it wasn't for evasion, effectively giving 15, or I believe it's 16% more hit points based on how the effectiveness of dodge works. In terms of overall effectiveness, I do understand there is a little bit of random number generator in there, but overall 16% plus or minus 2% is perhaps a good indication of what evasion is able to do in terms of protection. You could possibly get extremely lucky, but those are so far outside the standard deviations that I am not going to even bother to really calculate them, nor am I really calculating them at all, because, well, this is all just talk. Anyways, Demon Hunter now chasing back down this Footman. Footman down to 18 hit points, gets denied. Beautiful deny right there, as the Archmage, still low on mana, doesn't know what to do. He could try and steal some mana. There's a mana burn there. And that is continually the problem. Without mana, the water elementals are really not coming in. All right, using a clarity potion now, and with the help of an arcane vault, he will be able to hold on to this expansion and be able to defend it. Demon Hunter, Naga Sea Witch realizes, hey, this is no fight for me to be involved in. Doesn't really make sense for me to stick around. I'm gonna head back home and see what I can do here. Dryads being added, Tree of Ages, no tech to tier 2, tier 3 as of yet. Tree of Ages, not Tree of Eternity. We aren't going to be going into bears. We do have a lot of Dryads, but the Footman with the Fen may be able to get in a bit more damage than you would normally expect. All right. Troll Shadow Priest, mana burn most likely going to be coming across. No. Let's take a look at this. Troll Shadow Priest down to 42 hit points. Going to start healing himself. Not going to be enough, though, as we can see Ancients of Wind being built alongside the Ancients of Lore. Footman with the Fen going to be more than enough to handle some of this, as we may be getting into a couple of what is this? It may be a couple of detonations as well. Water Elemental very low on hit points, but still somehow able to fight back. Scroll of Town Portal being used. Are we going to get an Archer down? Archer down to 2 hit points. Does end up surviving, as the Demon Hunter still sitting at level 2. Naga Sea Witch still sitting at level 1. All right, a bit of healing going on back at home. Clarity Potion and Scroll of Regeneration all used together. We should be checking the tier 2. Yes, nearly done. We are looking also at a lot of towers coming in from Hawk. And this is one of those traditional builds that is very, very slow and steady at rolling over a Night Elf player. With the addition of the Blacksmith, I am curious as to whether or not we're going to be looking at Siege Engines. Siege Engines are very, very useful in the upcoming fight, as they do have fortified armor, making the attack from those Dryads pretty much worthless, especially if you have healers nearby. As we're now looking at the Archmage looking to finish up the rest of this Forest Troll creep camp. Back over here, Demon Hunter, Naga Sea Witch now making their way over here to the top right. Level 3, level 1 against a level 3 so far, as we are now going into that Mountain King. Arcane Sanctums being added, so it may actually just be Spellbreakers and Mortar teams. Mortar teams known to do a very, very effective job at shutting down the opponent, as we now see the Tree of Life quickly moving around, and it will be rooting itself up against this gold mine here in just a second. One Footman apparently didn't get the memo to drop his shields. He's going to end up getting pelted to death, as defended Footmen do move a bit slower. Even though they are able to reflect damage back, it doesn't always necessarily work. 47 over 66 supply, 49 over 66. We are sitting at no upkeep still for the human player. Meanwhile, Night Elf sitting at low upkeep. So we are sitting actually at 20 gold a second compared to 7. That is actually a big, big surprise there, as we are going to be looking at now finally 7 to 14. And as soon as this gold mine is completed, we should be getting a little bit more gold into the hands of the Night Elf. Night Elf has to be very careful in these upcoming fights, He needs to position himself and make sure that those Dryads and Archers are able to freely attack without necessarily taking so much damage themselves. Mountain King leading this fight in by himself here. The Mountain King doing a great job. Oh, are we going to see some, yes, pelted down units? The Enforcer now taking a lot of damage, and it looks like the rest of the units here will end up falling. Mountain King sitting at level 2, Tome of Agility +2, picked up now 3 armor. As Dryad trying to finish off in a water elemental down to 77 hit points pretty much in an instant, as we should be looking at some healers sometime shortly. Casters, we can see Priest are right here, Mortar Team being added, Sorceress being added as well. Archmage sitting at level 3, 2 very low hit point water elementals. One of them will be dissipating due to its short stay on or in Azeroth. I believe this is Azeroth. As we are now going into, well, this neck of the woods here. Mountain King still wants to get to level 3. Hasn't really had that many creep clearing opportunities. Only 2 major creep camps on the map, and those are going to be very, very difficult to clear out. Level 3 on the Naga Sea Witch. So Rudan actually really benefiting from that additional experience garnered by that Naga Sea Witch early on. Economic advantage is pretty much even though the supply advantage does go to Hawk. If the Archmage can keep his army alive, keep the mortar teams in the back, have the proper formation, this is going to be a very difficult army to take out, as the mortar teams are able to lob attacks. However, it looks like they are going to get caught in transit. Militia going after the Dryads here. Here you go, units. Are they going to be turning back around? Oh, Fork Lightning. There goes a peasant. There goes another peasant. Demon Hunter seeing that level 4. There goes, nope. Yeah, another peasant right there, and that is just all starting to add up. Mortar teams doing some quick work onto the Tree of Life. Tree of Life down to 100 or 300 hit points, down to 200 hit points. May be enough here. Yes, goes ahead and takes it down. So a quick bomber run, so to speak, to do a drive-by destruction, ensuring that he maintains the economic advantage. And those mortar teams really had their work cut out for them. 1-0 upgrades, giving them that necessary damage to finish off that building. All right, let's take a look back over here. Mortar teams now wandering around. Are we going to perhaps see the Granite Golem is going to get taken out here. There is a boulder onto the Archmage, as the units are going to be trying to engage right there. All right, there was a Thunderclap, another boulder onto the Footman. Footman taking a beef load worth of damage, and that is just not going to be a very good opportunity at all. Granite Golem continuing to stun out units, as the Granite Golem is going to end up falling here. Let's keep track of what item will be dropped. It is going to end up being Cloak of Flames, most likely picked up by that Mountain King. Meanwhile, in the center portion of the map, Bears now being added. They do have Rejuvenation, so they are essentially level 1 Paladins, each of them. High damage, high hit points with the ability to heal. Mountain King sitting at level 3. We could perhaps see a couple of Storm Bolts already, as the mortar team still sitting at a 1-0 upgrade. I don't see it. Oh, we are going into 2-2 upgrades on the Spellbreakers. So 2-2 upgrades and eventual 2-0 upgrades for those mortar teams. They just need to start positioning themselves over here to the top right, as the Spellbreakers now just venturing forth, hoping to get enough mana for this upcoming fight here, perhaps stealing some scrolls of protection, or maybe even a rejuvenation or 2 if they can get it off. Back down, we are looking to upgrade to Castle. Flare now being researched, Priest being added. Supply count is 80/84, so no more units most likely to be trained. Rudan sitting at 70/70, as we may be looking at a Creepjack here in just a moment. Let's take a look. Does he spot this? I'm not 100% sure, as the Demon Hunter throws down a Wand of Illusion in order to fight back. All right, this could be potentially bad. Mountain King now leading the charge, spots that there is an illusion. Demon Hunter now looking to back off here. There's another Demon Hunter there, as the Archmage may try to finish off this Granite Golem by himself. Mountain King will get even closer to level 2 or level 4. Excuse me, as the Archmage is going to go ahead and drop back here. All right, Illusion, Demon Hunter may try to rush on in, may be able to even eat a couple of easy units. Doesn't seem to be the case. Meanwhile, the
Players' forces are under attack.
rock golems are now trying to fight back here. All right, a little bit of splash damage onto all of those dryads really having a bit of problems now. A big thunderclap by that granite golem, pretty much taking down a handful of peasants, as you see the archmage once more in trouble. All right, there goes one rock golem. Are we going to perhaps see, yes, another Warsong battle drums needs to be picked up, and it is going to be picked up right there. Command aura now given across all the units. Water elementals now in a little bit of trouble. Mountain King, Storm Bolts, Scroll of Healing. The Scroll of Healing actually heals the illusion as well, as we now are looking at a handful of bears now getting taken down. It looks like Rudan, however, is going to end up losing this. Hawk is in such a good position as the Dryads and the remaining units are falling. Demon Hunter, however, out of mana. No real way to get mana at this point. But Potion of Invulnerability on him. Double Scrolls of Healing. This should be able to offset a good bit of the damage as the Fork Lightning does go down, finishing off the remaining units. Mountain King looking to finish off this one Naga Sea Witch here. Naga Sea Witch taking a lot of damage. Is it going to get bashed? No bash, but still enough damage to finish it off. Level 4 Naga Sea Witch goes down. Level 4 Archmage still up. Level 4 Mountain King now up, as we may be getting into a Stormbolt onto the Demon Hunter, but that is a day late and $1 short as his Scroll of Town Portal activates just in time. Rudan taking this moment to look around the map, figure out where he's going to be going next and what he wants to do. He could just try and go for the face right now, knowing that his opponent has not really had time to resurrect that second hero. Naga Sea Witch just now getting resurrected. A bit of a mistake there. Should have been resurrecting a much longer ago. And if this expansion goes down for the second time, I don't believe Rudan will have enough to really recover this at all. All right, 2 mortar teams, that is it. Flying machines overhead keeping track of the army. 1 spellbreaker, 2 upgrades compared to 0 upgrades. And here we go. There is the fight. Hippogriffs now looking to come in and take down a handful of units, as the bears and the remaining units are now just continuing this fight here. Units are now backing off. Slow still being cast, as we see that damage is going to be added up more and more. Mountain King pretty much now out of mana, but he does have that Cloak of Flames, dealing a tremendous bit of damage. I think that is pretty much going to be it here. We should see the GG, and yes, Rudan does give game number 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1. Please stay tuned for game number 2.